Jackie, an employee of the Amherst Chuck E. Cheese's, was fired today after that arrest, which was the result of a bigger investigation by Homeland Security that started in Hawaii.
I low-key 100% believe the Chuck E. Cheese conspiracy theory.
That's the very strange statement Chuck E. Cheese was forced to make after a popular YouTuber's conspiracy video went viral.
Chuck E. Cheese was the childhood jackpot: cheap pizza, plastic prizes, and a singing rat that made birthdays feel magical. It was marked as the ultimate escape for overstimulated kids and exhausted parents, a place where a kid could be a kid. But behind the animatronic smile and the blinking arcade lights was something much darker. From recycled pizza slice conspiracies to in-store brawls, hidden surveillance, and corporate scandals, Chuck E. Cheese has a past that's less family fun and more fever dream turned legal nightmare. In this video, we are peeling back the grease-stained curtain on the sketchiest mouse in America. So let's get into it. I don't know about you guys, but I grew up going to Chuck E. Cheese. It was about like 10 minutes from the house that I lived in when I grew up, and it was such a treat. I loved it because it was games and it was fun, and I was young. I mean, I think I was probably like 6 or 7 when I went there. And I saw recently that they're making adult-only locations, which sounds kind of like a Dave & Buster's. I don't know how that will do. Honestly, I don't really picture myself like drinking with like a rat hanging out with me, but it reminded me of Chuck E. Cheese, and I decided to do a deeper dive into the company itself. Now, we've talked about Barney before on the channel. We've talked about Elmo before on the channel, and today we're going to expose Chuck E. Cheese. Now, we're not just talking about the rat, we're talking about every single scandal in this video, some of the worst things that you'll ever hear, which takes us to our first chapter, some of the creeps of Chuck E. Cheese. One thing that's so spooky about Chuck E. Cheese and that environment is that it attracts so many young kids. And to people like you and I, you would think, okay, cool, like go have fun, kids. But there are other people who see that as a gold mine, not only for them to go and creep on these kids, possibly kidnap them or worse, but also people who want to go there and be employed. So they're constantly around vulnerable children. It makes my stomach sick thinking about the possibility of having a kid one day and them being out in the real world and these creeps are there too. In the state of New York, in the town of Amherst, there was a Chuck E. Cheese that employed a man named Zachary Federman. He was only 20 years old, and he was charged with a felony count of possessing content that involves children. Investigators say that he was sharing explicit content back and forth with someone based in Hawaii. But this guy's not even like an old creepy man that you probably pictured a few minutes ago. He's 20 years old doing this and working at a place where there are plenty of kids.
Police say they found child porn on his computer. Officers arrested 20-year-old Zachary Federman of the town of Tonawanda.
Employee of the Amherst Chuck E. Cheese's was fired today after that arrest, which was the result of a bigger investigation by Homeland Security that started in Hawaii.
Fortunately, none of Zachary's victims were in the Chuck E. Cheese, but that's not the case for every story. Like this man named Robert Weber. He was 43 years old and he was arrested while in a Chuck E. Cheese doing things to a very young child. I can't even like get into how graphic this really gets, but let's just say he received the maximum sentencing for harming this 3-year-old, which, as he should, honestly sentence him to death. What's even more disgusting about this man is that he actually used his own child to go and find other kids to go and harm, which is even scarier, using your like kid as like a mule to go and pull in more victims. When police confronted him, he actually admitted that he was at Chuck E. Cheese earlier that day. When the officer asked him whether he had harmed the person, the victim, the kid, he said, "I don't think I should talk about that." And of course, he was taken into custody. Like, get him out of here. So we decided to take a look at some of the rules at Chuck E. Cheese. So kids are not allowed to go in without a parent. That makes sense. If you are under 18, you need to have a parent with you, which I don't know. I feel like if you're like 17 or 16, you probably, I don't know if you could or not. But anyways, kids, they need their parents there. But when it comes to adults, there are some locations that allow them to go and roam Chuck E. Cheese without a kid. Now, don't get me wrong. There are locations that do require that you have a minor with you, but there are also a lot that just allow adults to go and hang out at a place that is designed for solely children. Like, why was that last guy even crawling through the tunnels with these kids? I mean, the father said he saw them twice crawling through the kid tunnels. Now let's switch gears and talk about Chuck E. Cheese's connection to Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's is a scary video game franchise that takes place in a fictional restaurant called Freddy's Fazbear's Pizza, which is pretty much a haunted nightmare version of Chuck E. Cheese. In the games, you play as a night security guard trying to survive your shift while the restaurant's creepy animatronic characters come to life and they try to attack you. You have to monitor security cameras and manage limited power to keep them at bay. Now you might be thinking this is a harmless video game, a scary video game, but it's not, because it actually may have inspired the 1993 Chuck E. Cheese massacre in Colorado. What was meant to be a place of joy and childhood nostalgia turned into a scene of violence when a former disgruntled employee came back to the location 5 months after to go and attack their co-workers. The attack left 5 people shot and 4 people dead, and it completely changed how people saw Chuck E. Cheese.
On December 14th of 1993, in Aurora, Colorado, 19-year-old Nathan Dunlap was recently fired from Chuck E. Cheese 5 months prior, and he was very, very frustrated about it. 9 p.m., Nathan ended up entering the Chuck E. Cheese that he was fired from and ordered a ham and cheese sandwich. He played at the arcade and ended up spending time in the bathroom until closing time. Nathan stepped out of the bathroom and shot 5 people, killed 4 and 1 survivor. The following victims were Sylvia Crowell, who was 19 years old, Grant and Colleen O'Connor, who were only 17 at the time, Bobby Stevens, who was 20 years old and he was the only survivor, or basically just played dead during the entire time until he walked away. And lastly, the store manager, Marge Kohlberg, who was only 50 years old. May 17th of 1996, Dunlap was found guilty of 4 counts of first-degree murder, attempted murder, robbery, and burglary.
So 2 17-year-olds, a 20-year-old, and a 50-year-old all lost their lives that day. In the days leading up to the shooting, he told his friends that he was going to do something big. And it's horrific how he did it. That 50-year-old lady, Marge, who was just counting the cash register in the kitchen, was just shot execution style by this man. He ended up stealing $1,500 and 4 souls that day. He was caught the next day after boasting about the crime to acquaintances, and then police found the murder weapon in a gym bag at his mother's house. Now, it doesn't seem like Nathan had any remorse for the attack. He never felt bad and he never said sorry, and they sentenced him to death. His attorneys later appealed the sentence, citing his history of mental illness, including bipolar disorder. Even though Nathan was sentenced to death, he did not ever die, because they kept moving his death date until like 2013, until Colorado got rid of that law. So he's currently still behind bars with a life sentence. But there seems to be a weird pattern here of Chuck E. Cheese hiring very problematic people. One person writes on Reddit, former Chuck E. Cheese employee here. I once had to tell my boss not to hire someone with the whole recent she got convicted of fiddling her cousin thing. It was someone I went to high school with. Another person writes, went with my ex's family to a Chuck E. Cheese. We all got a family picture together and Chuck's hand was on the right of my underage little sister's boob. He was doing it to all the girls that night, so nobody was surprised, but it did ruin the picture. There is something perverse about the Chuck E. Cheese brand. I mean, they're supposed to be catering to children, but they do really weird things, like creating a cup that looks like you're sucking off Chuck E. Cheese.
I found this inappropriate Chuck E. Cheese cup at the Goodwill bins when I was thrifting the other day, and I wanted to tell you about it. And this is not me calling it inappropriate, this is just the general rumblings of why they stopped making this cup in particular. This is a promo cup. You can upgrade to a promo cup anytime you buy a drink at Chuck E. Cheese. They always have some sort of plastic promo cup going on. When you screw Chuck all the way in, the hole lands at the back, and Chuck E. Cheese only serves straight straws. They don't have bendy straws. So if you put a straw in him, this is how it's supposed to work. It's a normal cup, right? So the trouble comes when you can just unscrew him or twist him around to the back, and if you get him home and you have a kid and you use a bendy straw, which makes a lot more sense than trying to drink like that, you use a bendy straw. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at him looking at you while you're trying to drink out of his straw there.
Now let's get into the recycled pizza conspiracy. I remember those videos that Shane Dawson did exposing Chuck E. Cheese and the fact that it seemed like they didn't make their pizzas whole. They would just cut slices and put it together, trying to just get the pizza out the door. And I don't think this is super uncommon. I mean, I see like the pizza place down the street, they like put a new slice out whenever you have the pie, but it became such a thing because so many of the slices were not the same.
I low-key 100% believe the Chuck E. Cheese conspiracy theory. And maybe it's because I'm from the generation that did go to Chuck E. Cheese notoriously as a kid. Did you ever go to Chuck E. Cheese and notice that the pizza wasn't round?
No.
So it's a thing that people go to Chuck E. Cheese and notice that the pizza is kind of jagged, like some shapes. It's not like straight lines cut through the pizza, insinuating that slices have been saved from other pizzas and put together to make a new pizza.
The theory goes that workers at Chuck E. Cheese will take leftover pizza that people don't eat, take it back, and compile a new pizza basically out of scraps. There have been pictures of people getting pizza from Chuck E. Cheese, and the slices look really weird, and it's several different sizes.
There's a theory that if somebody at Chuck E. Cheese doesn't finish their whole pizza, and there's like a few pieces left, the employee will take that to the back, take those pieces off the tray, and form a new pizza.
This person writes on Reddit, after watching Shane's video, I'm 100% sure that my childhood consisted of many recycled pizzas. Jeffree Star even tweeted, hey Chuck E. Cheese, you have a lot of explaining to do, ho. Now, of course, Chuck E. Cheese denied everything that Shane exposed. They said that the claims made in this video and our pizza are false. No conspiracies here. Our pizza are made to order and we prepare our dough fresh in the restaurant, which means that they're not always perfectly uniform in shape, but always delicious. Now, I'm not Dave Portnoy. I'm not a pizza expert, but I don't think, like, does Chuck E. Cheese have like delicious pizza? Comment below. I haven't been in a very long time. Actually, like what? Like 20 years?
Finally, we do not stitch together old pizza. That's the very strange statement Chuck E. Cheese was forced to make after a popular YouTuber's conspiracy video went viral. Now, to support his issue, Dawson presented photos of mismatched slices on half and half pies, saying they appeared to be randomly placed, not part of the same original pizza. The conspiracy theorist even claimed one of his high school friends who worked at the restaurant confirmed his suspicion.
One person said in response to Chuck E. Cheese, okay, but like, can you explain this? I understand they don't have to be perfect, but I mean, that's clearly not the same pizza. Even though Chuck E. Cheese issued their Twitter statement, people were not buying it at this time. And honestly, if you're going to take a kid to a restaurant like this, I mean, at least one, make it safe, but two, like, give them like food that they pay for, not a pizza that went onto someone else's table and back into their plate. Now let's get into the COVID conspiracy, because there's another pizza conspiracy that happened during the COVID pandemic. So essentially, when Chuck E. Cheese couldn't allow people to come into store anymore, they created a new name in which they sold their pizza under, which is a little bit bizarre. I mean, I think you could do Chuck E. Cheese delivery and then people know what they're getting. But they decided to create this fake company to continue selling its pizza. Now, the new virtual brand they created is called Pasquale's, which comment below if you guys have eaten that before. So it's a virtual brand, there's no true location, and it's available on Grubhub. And I understand when COVID hit, nobody knew what to do, so Chuck E. Cheese just wanted to keep running, keep operations moving. But at the same time, I don't understand why they had to create this different name. It just left a lot of people feeling misled by the brand. When customers ordered from Pasquale's on the apps during COVID, they often assumed that they were supporting a small local business, not a national chain known for its kid parties and animatronics. So they posed as like a local pizza joint to go and get people to purchase their food. But whenever they saw the food, it was like arriving in like a Chuck E. Cheese box, and they quickly realized what was going on there. I think part of the reason why everyone's disappointed is because nobody wants to eat Chuck E. Cheese pizza. So if I thought I was getting a good pizza, I don't want to arrive in a Chuck E. Cheese box. Which takes me to our next segment where we talk about some of the issues with the food. Now, the food quality is not great at Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know if you guys realize that, but yeah, here, now you know. And plenty of people have gotten food poisoning from their food. Now, this location in Kentucky was shut down after multiple violations. They just couldn't get it right. There was a complaint that was filed because a family had pizza, cheese bread, wings, and fries, but sent back the wings twice because they were ice cold, and the pizza was also sent back for temperature reasons. Everyone they've talked to at the party is sick. One person said, the only thing I ate was pepperoni pizza. I only ate a piece of it because I thought it tasted funny. So they just stopped there, which good for you, Eric. But his wife, Jennifer, said that she had 4 slices of pizza. Ooh, she was a hungry girl. She also had 1 slice of cheese bread. Wait, so you had like 5 slices of pizza, Jennifer. Get a grip, girl. Or, I don't know, go live your best life. And a bite of a chicken wing. Just 48 hours later, Eric had a stomach ache and Jennifer was dead. I'm just kidding. She was not dead, but she was very ill. She said, I had severe diarrhea to the point where I could not get out of bed. When her husband went to check on her, he said that she stopped breathing. Wait, we joked a little bit too soon. Her eyes were still very still and she began to turn blue. She was sent to the hospital, and after recovering, she filed the complaint. And I'm not going to read through all the violations that they had, but after they were investigated, they found out that it wasn't just a rat there in the kitchen preparing the food. Now, that was a case of only one location in Kentucky, but this has been a problem across the board at Chuck E. Cheese. And I think there's a reason, because there's a pattern when it comes to their employees. They're young and they don't know what they're doing. It looks like at a location in the Bronx, a Chuck E. Cheese employee, a 17-year-old, was found using equipment that only adults are allowed to use. It's actually a violation of federal child labor regulations, so a kid-friendly place like violating child labor laws doesn't sound good. But one Chuck E. Cheese employee that we can't forget about is the mascot, Mr. Chuck E. Cheese himself. For decades, Chuck E. Cheese has been both a source of joy and low-key terror for children. The jerky movements, the blinking eyes, the stiff grins, it's all really creepy to look at. One person said, "I used to hide under the table when I was at Chuck E. Cheese and the gang started singing. It was like staring into the eyes of a haunted taxidermy rat." And I don't know any child that would go and see Chuck E. Cheese and think that this thing is friendly or fun. Let's take a look.
Chuck E. Cheese! Chuck E. Cheese! Chuck E. Cheese! Oh, heck no.
But not only are these robots creepy, they're a bad business model because they're so expensive to keep up. In 2021, Chuck E. Cheese announced that it would remove animatronics completely from its remodeled restaurants. They plan to redo the brand and offer a more modern look, open floor plans, LED screens, digital dance floors. That's probably the best choice for them, to go and rebrand everything, because I know those carpets in there are disgusting. But I don't know, I think like removing Chuck E. Cheese from Chuck E. Cheese doesn't make it Chuck E. Cheese anymore. Like, you can't have it without the creepy rat in the corner staring at you while you're eating your pizza. I have to admit, I am terrified of these things, and I'm sure after this video, I'm going to be having nightmares about this rat. Oh my gosh, imagine having one in your home, having multiple in your home. Oh, hell no, that thing just started moving. I feel like there has to be someone under there, right? Someone who's really stiff. They need to do some yoga. But when you have a place like Chuck E. Cheese, people get rowdy, and children, they have accidents, and there are lawsuits. At one point, Chuck E. Cheese was actually sued because they were accused of encouraging underage gambling. You guys know they have all these tickets that come out, and you want to get all these tickets so you can go get a prize. It kind of like feeds into the same model of adults at casinos. But there's also other lawsuits that involve harassment. In Charleston, West Virginia, 4 employees actually sued the parent company of Chuck E. Cheese. They claimed that they were systematically subjected to harassment despite numerous reports to upper management. It's supposed to be a safe, family-friendly establishment, yet it was anything but professional. All 4 lawsuits were filed by former employees, who include underage high school teenagers. Kylie Wright was the first to speak out against Chuck E. Cheese. Kylie worked at the restaurant for 9 months when she was 17 years old. She claims Ryan Slade, her supervisor, attempted to groom her for a relationship and physically violated her on different occasions. Mary Smith claims she had a similar experience when she worked there in high school. She claims that Ryan groomed her by giving her special treatment, like buying her food and letting her leave work early. She claims that he inappropriately touched her multiple times at the restaurant and made her uncomfortable. In January 2024, a woman named Kelsey was pregnant while working at a Chuck E. Cheese location in Charleston. She claims that her manager was really aggressive with her, touching her and talking to her about how he wanted to do things to her while she's pregnant. Lawyers said that these 4 lawsuits reveal Chuck E. Cheese tolerated harassment and retaliated against employees who tried to stop it. So right now, the environment is not great. We've got these employees who are filing against harassment, and it seems like their HR department needs to be figured out. I want to talk about another situation. It's not a lawsuit, but it brought a lot of backlash. The headline reads, "Mom speaks out after she says Chuck E. Cheese costume employee in New Jersey ignored her daughter." The family was attending a birthday party at this location, and in a video you could see the Chuck E. Cheese giving high fives to children while walking in front of a small stage. There was a bunch of white kids that were there, and they received a high five. She claims my black child was the one to get ignored. The mother said that she was upset. She gave the on-site manager an opportunity to apologize, and she said, "I'm sorry you feel that way." Was that an apology? Now, I don't know what it's like within that costume. I don't know if maybe they couldn't see her, but something seems a little bit off. It was like way too long where he's just like kind of staring down at this poor little girl who just wants to high five the rat. But I want to hear what you guys think of this video in the comments below. If you have any other video ideas for me, my email is SloanWellKnown@gmail.com. But I'll see you guys in a new one soon. Bye, guys.